Hey, what's up? I want to kick off this one with a little story from growing up because it explains a lot about how my brain works. When my brother and I were kids, we got lectured a lot. Our dad had an entire catalog of life advice, but two lines burned themselves into my memory more than any others. The first, and I lead with this purely because it's the loudest one still rattling around in my head, was there are two ways to do something: right and again, which we'd usually hear right after being informed that what we'd just done was not good enough and that we would, in fact, be doing it again. The second one, only slightly quieter in my memory, was the constant command to put things back exactly where you found them the second you're done. And I think it's because I heard that one so often and got grounded enough times for ignoring it that I've spent my whole adult life mildly obsessed with being organized. It's why I keep my room tidy despite cramming it full of gear. It's why I have color coded calendars. It's why I will happily talk your ear off about the quiet beauty of a well designed tree like folder structure on a computer. But being organized is about way more than color coded calendars and a clean desktop. So today I'm going through 7 things organized people do that you probably don't. And I can already hear you getting defensive. And fair, you probably do one of these, maybe a couple. But do you do all 7? Only one way to find out. Let's go. Number 1. Organized people don't trust their brains to store information. This is the foundation, so I'm putting it first. Organized people understand a hard truth. Human memory is fallible. Things fade, especially the stuff you don't actively use. So when they need to remember something, they don't lean on their brain to hold it. They hand it off to a system they trust. And what makes a system trustworthy? A few things. First, it can't lose your data. That instantly disqualifies your brain, which forgets constantly, but it might also disqualify a paper notebook, unless you're backing that notebook up somehow. Compare that to something built for retention, like a notes app or cloud storage with servers backing your data up around the world, so even if your laptop dies in a fire, your information survives. Second, it has to be accessible. If you love paper, great, but then that notebook has to physically go everywhere with you. If it's digital, it should sync to the cloud so you can pull it up on whatever device is in your hand. And third, the system has to be organized and searchable itself. A logical folder structure, a working search function, and naming conventions that actually make sense. A system you can't search is just a fancier way to lose things. Number 2, organized people label things, especially the stuff they won't touch for ages. Here's a concrete example sitting 3 feet from me right now. I've got some hardware, screws, brackets, the bits that hold a desk together, that I genuinely never need except when I'm moving. So naturally, it lives in a plastic bag inside a storage cube, safe and sound. But here's the thing. If I didn't label that bag and 3 years passed between moves, there is zero chance I'd remember what those random screws belong to when I finally dug them out. And this is timely because I'm actually moving in a few months. But past me had the foresight to buy bags with a little white label patch and to write desk hardware on it. So future me soon, gets to walk right up to it and know exactly what it is. That's the whole magic of labeling. You're sending a message to a version of yourself who has completely forgotten the context. Plastic bags are just one case. Those hanging file organizers, storage bins, mystery cables, anything you'll revisit after a long gap deserves a label. Number 3, organized people run a mindfulness loop. This is my favorite one, so stick with me. A mindfulness loop is a mental process that constantly cycles through the different dependencies in your life and checks up on them. And a dependency is exactly what it sounds like. Every living thing has them. Even the simplest single-celled blob floating in a pond depends on a watery environment and a food source. Not many dependencies, but real ones. And without them, it dies. You're the same, just vastly more complicated. You've got food, shelter, your academic goals, your relationships, your finances, your health, a sprawling web of things that need tending. And here's where organized and disorganized people split hard. Disorganized people get ambushed by their dependencies. The car registration that lapsed, the friend they haven't called in 2 months, the project that snuck up on them. Organized people are always glancing ahead, quietly asking what each dependency is going to need before it becomes a crisis. They've got this loop humming in the background. My favorite real-world example comes from my mom. I was maybe 14, up in my room doing whatever a 14-year-old does on a computer. And out of nowhere, it's 2 in the afternoon, she yells up, "Have you brushed your teeth today?" She wasn't anywhere near a bathroom. She was doing something totally unrelated. But my health was one of her dependencies, and her loop pinged her with a notification to check on it. That's the loop in action. Now, this pattern takes real time to build. You can't flip it on like a switch. But the first step is to consciously list your dependencies. Sit down, maybe even sketch a mind map of every area of your life and what it depends on. Do that deliberate thinking up front, and over time, it sinks into your subconscious and the loop starts running on its own. Number 4, organized people live by 2 is 1, 1 is none. This one's borrowed from military and prepper circles, and it just means keep a backup of anything you rely on regularly, especially if running out mid-task would wreck your day. The camera filming this runs on a battery. If that battery died right now, no problem, because there's a second one on the wall charger, always topped off, ready to swap in. If I didn't have that backup, filming stops, and maybe the video doesn't go out on time. 1 is none. Same logic runs through my whole life. Memory cards. I keep several spares. Even smoothie ingredients. There are 2 jugs of milk in my fridge, not 1, so running out mid-blend never derails my morning. The rule is simple. If running out of something would interrupt your life, keep a backup. Use the backup, carry on with your day, and replace the original whenever it's convenient. The point isn't paranoia. It's never letting a small shortage become a stoppage. Number 5, organized people build systems around their own experience, not dogma. Organized people set things up based on what actually works for them, tested through their own trial and error, not just because that's how it's done. My favorite illustration is from Anthony Bourdain's Kitchen Confidential. He points out that loads of chefs inventory their kitchen alphabetically, simply because that feels like the obvious way to make a list. Bourdain didn't. He arranged his inventory sheets to mirror the physical layout of the kitchen, so the order on the page matched the order he'd actually walk past things. Which, once you hear it, makes total sense. But a lot of what people do isn't based on sense. It's based on habit and inheritance. So ditch the dogma when it doesn't hold up. Question the default. Keep experimenting with your own processes and setups so you're doing things as effectively as you can, not as effectively as some tradition assumes. Number 6, organized people respect mise en place. You knew this was coming. Mise en place is the French kitchen term that roughly means everything in its place. And back to Kitchen Confidential one more time, Bourdain describes it as your setup, your working environment, and to some degree, your state of mind. Every competent chef and line cook swears by it, because the alternative is working in pure chaos. You do not want greasy, meat-covered hands frantically searching for your chef's knife while a burner's lit. You want everything staged, in its spot, before the pressure starts. And this isn't a kitchen-only idea. It's for anyone. Set your workspace up properly before you begin. Then, when you're done, put everything back exactly where you found it, which, yes, is my dad's second great lecture, finally paying dividends decades later. Mise en place on the way in, put it back on the way out. That loop is most of organization right there. Number 7, organized people are deliberate about what they own. This is the one that ties it all together. Organized people are intentional about what they buy, what they keep, and what they let go of. I won't call myself a minimalist, mostly because my best friend Martin, an actual minimalist who runs my website, would sabotage it out of sheer irritation if I claimed the label. But I'm careful to only buy things that bring me real value, joy, or utility, and I don't let useless stuff pile up and clutter my space. Here's the reason this matters so much. Every single thing you own costs you, not just money up front, ongoing energy, time, and space to maintain it, store it, and keep it organized. The more you own, the more there is to manage. And remember, organized people don't want to spend more time organizing than they have to. Organization is a means to an end, not the hobby itself. So be deliberate going in. Ask whether you're buying something for genuine joy or utility, or for some frivolous reason, or just to impress someone. And be deliberate about what you already own, too. Regularly ask whether you still need a thing, whether someone else could get more use from it, whether it's time to donate it or let it go. Do that, along with the other six, and you're well on your way to being a genuinely organized person. Not the color-coded calendar kind, the real kind. And here's a thread worth pulling on as we wrap up. That mindfulness loop from number 3, it actually has levels. At its most basic, it's pure maintenance, keeping your life running as it currently is. But at a higher level, it stops just looking sideways and starts looking forward, constantly nudging you about what you could set up now to seize opportunities later. And the skill that pairs best with that forward-looking loop is lateral thinking, solving problems through indirect, creative angles, which runs on a wide, interconnected base of knowledge. The good news is, both creativity and that broad knowledge base are trainable. Build them, keep your loop running, and you don't just stay organized, you stay ready. If this was helpful, a like genuinely supports the channel, and you can subscribe for a new video every week. There's a free copy of my book on earning better grades in the description too. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.